Yes, 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 yes. Paul can keep it a magical sword now.
Welcome to episode 7. I'm here with Lucas. Hello, Lucas.
Hello.
And we're going to talk about, well, a couple of things. But first of all, I thought Lucas and I could talk about Parker's levelling up.
Yes, that sounds good.
And you've made an interesting decision. Why don't you tell me about your interesting decision?
Credit where it's due. It was actually your idea.
Well, it was just a suggestion.
Yes, and then I went away and looked at it. So basically, Parker is a monk. And the key thing about the monk is, the flurry of blows, being able to basically do several unarmed attacks. And as you go up in level, they get better. And then you get acrobatic skills and you're basically, a pummeler. But the only problem with the monk is that when he's at first level, actually, he's a bit pants, really. We discovered. And then you only actually get the flurry of blows thing when you're second level, which is also really silly. And then all of these other things only really come along until you're like second, third level, where you can do deflect missile and that kind of thing.
Well, the third level is the magic level in a lot of D&D 5th edition classes.
Yes, precisely.
Yeah. Okay.
So the problem, of course, was getting there.
Because you came a cropper in the fight against the wolves, and you came a cropper in the fight against Madame Wodge.
Yeah. So basically, trying to be a fighter, Madame Wodge. So trying to be a fighter, and then basically having your hits and then being trashed was a bit silly, really.
Right.
So your suggestion was, well, why don't you take a level of druid?
Yes.
And then basically, as a first level druid, you get some nice extra things.
But there are some synergies between druid and monk. Yeah.
Well, first of all, there's some synergies because you can do the shillelagh spell, which allows you to basically power up a quarterstaff.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, of course, with your unarmed strike, your offhand, that actually gives you quite a good attack without actually having to get into the whole flurry of blows thing.
Gotcha.
The other thing is, as a druid, you get cantrips and spells in your first level. Whether or not, I'll have to make another decision when I get to when we go up another level, because then you have to think about, do you take another level of druid, another level of monk?
Yeah.
There's all sorts of things you can do, but the point is that actual fact they work quite well together, because you can use monk attacks, druid spells, then you get a good range attack as well. So it means if you're not in this position where you're thinking, I'm still at the front as a fighter, then you can drop back and do range spells.
Did you load wisdom at first level? Did you load wisdom when you built the character?
I did, yes, because in actual fact...
That's good.
Yeah.
Because of the armor class bonus.
That's correct. And the thing about monk is, in actual fact, the way to load a monk is to load him with dexterity and wisdom.
Because you use dexterity with monk weapons to hit rolls, don't you?
If you Google druid monk, there's lots of discussion about it. So in actual fact, it's quite an interesting multi-class. And one of the things that was really appealing is actually, as a first level druid, you get quite a nice set of spells. So if you're going to be a druid-y druid, then you'd probably take different spells. But what I did for the monk was, obviously you can take a cure wounds.
Yes.
And then I've taken basically long strider, which allows you to increase your speed.
Yes.
So you can sort of power yourself up quite nicely.
Yeah. Okay.
And then I've basically taken two cures. So I've taken a cure wounds.
Yeah.
Which is the standard, and then there's also a healing word, which basically gives you another 1d4, which of course means that not necessarily you're not going to be a party healer, but if you're in a melee, it gives you the opportunity to heal yourself.
So have you taken anything outrightly offensive?
Yes. So basically, distinguish between the spells and the cantrips. So those are the first level spells, and then the offensive ones I've basically taken in the cantrips. because you can do. So I taken shillelagh, which is very good, and then the other one you can do as a druid is produce flame. And the nice thing I liked about this, and obviously it's not tested in combat yet, we'll see, is when you produce flame, it's a flame in your hand.
What could possibly go wrong? Yeah.
What could possibly go wrong? So you've got two options. The thing is, it does damage if you hit somebody with it.
Yeah.
So of course, if you do produce flame in your unarmed strike, then the first time you do a hit, it adds damage. Or if you're moving away, you can use it as a ranged weapon as well.
That seems quite transformative to me.
Yes, I mean, it's certainly. I was starting off thinking I'd want to do the monk. I think I will still probably carry on as the monk because I was interested in doing a 5e monk.
Okay, so the other thing about Parker I was going to ask you is why is he such a peculiar little unit? His head is pointy and his eyes light up when he speaks.
Yes,
and he doesn't seem to be gifted in the art of social interaction.
No, to be honest, really, I should characterize everything he says in some kind of accent without...
Like sort of pulp European kind of vampire movies, all of those kinds of threads and ideas.
And removing personal pronouns. Removing the definite article. Basically,
he's had a prononoctomy. Okay. Okay.
So basically, you just say string nouns together and then put a verb at the end.
Yeah, and then point, and then get killed by a wolf. Brilliant. Right. Excellent. Thank you, Lucas. That was a very interesting discussion. One thing that's very helpful for us, by the way, is if you give us a rating or a review on your podcast app of choice, Apple Podcasts or Stitcher or Spotify or whatever, and to subscribe helps us as well. We're going to push on now without further ado with episode 7, Papa Don't Preach.
But he's our man. Hesti Testapod, best in the land. Hesti Testapod,
Right. I don't know that is a massive success.
Ave.
Salway.
Ave.
This podcast is brought to you courtesy of, what is it? Hawkshead Windermere Pale Ale, and it's most delicious.
2016 Rioja.
Oh, God.
I've got soda streamed double filtered tap water.
Graham, I'm drinking Cockfab.
You're drinking cock what?
Cockfab.
That sounds...
How's that?
Okay.
Cockfab. It's a Swiss German beer.
Don't switch your webcam on, please.
Who's the lucky boy?
Nobody wants to see that. Hello, we're back. We're playing again. At the end of last session, talked about heading back to the Whispering Cairn to recover the head or the body or proof that you've killed Madame Wodge. I can't do the voice.
I think you have to do the voice. I think that's the
Madame Wodge of the Lodge.
Madame Wodge from the Lodge.
And the
Which
idea
lodge
of that,
is it, by the way?
well, there's a very deep and
is there a special handshake?
There's a deep and rich backstory that I won't share with you now.
The Lodge of Madame Wodge.
If we collect the head, we have it. We don't have to use it, but we have it.
That's true.
If we wait a week, the head might not be there.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go and get the head, and then we can cross that bridge. Right, so we're going to get the head.
Okay, so it takes you a day to get there. You get to the Whispering Cairn in the mid-late afternoon of the following day, which is Asma Day. Things are pretty much as you left them. The lanterns that you had lit using your own torches have gone out. The green lantern at the top of the sinkhole is still flickering away because there's something in there that just seems to keep going, like the Duracell bunny.
Have a burning flame.
The
torch or whatever it's called.
Elevator at the end of the yellow passageway
Is up.
And the doors are open and there is no sign of your friend Digger.
Mm-hmm.
But the bodies are exactly as you left them. Nothing's been disturbed or touched.
Okay.
Okay, hack off her head, stick it on.
Why don't we just take the whole body?
Does she have a distinctive weapon or an item of jewelry or?
She's kind of got scrabbly, very weathered studded leather armor. She had really a few coppers, some kind of biltong beef or mutton.
It's the head.
And she had a scimitar. That's basically what she had.
It's the head or the body, or the head and the body. But
I think we take the whole body.
Yeah.
We can always take we can deal with. Yeah.
Take the whole body.
Isn't there a preserve life type thing, or stop things from rotting?
It's about minus 7 or 8 degrees. It's snow on the ground. She's in a cave. It's fine. You're going to be fine with that. I presume you kind of weather the night in the shelter of the cairn. Nothing happens. I mean, all the little whispery voices are quite spooky, but nothing else occurs.
We sing a song to keep ourselves entertained.
What song might you sing? And
I've
then on Ut, you head back into town down the company road. It's been snowing kind of quite significantly now, but the road is passable. As you head back into town, you've got scudding dark clouds with the occasional patch of sunlight. Somebody make a perception check as you near the town.
15.
You notice something, Burple.
Dun dun dun.
You notice that the Autumn Runner, which is the ship run by Durkin that Grimbold crews on for the occasional copper, is back. It was gone when you were in town before. Effectively knocking on for 48 hours later, it's back. You can see its masts. You can see it at the old pier.
Oh, I might go and say hello.
Okay. I'll leave you to draw your own conclusions about what that might mean. And as you head into town, you sort of see straggling columns of kind of very unhappy-looking miners being kind of cajoled up the roads back towards the pit heads by angry pit bosses, kind of holding cudgels. And town is quiet. Ravens croak their way in spirals over the town. There is a cart with a couple of watchmen, 2 watchmen that you've not seen before, scouring for the bodies of miners that have died of exposure overnight, having got so drunk and falling over in the back streets. And that is pretty much the state of things. Everything is very quiet. The Vane is very quiet. That's the main road through town. And what are you doing with your body?
We're going to put a stick up the back of the clothing and some strings, attach some strings to the wrists.
Yes.
And then use it like a puppet. Ooh, like a ghost.
Grimbold needs somebody to go up the front and fight, doesn't he? So.
Can you do the ventriloquism as well? Got the gear.
Yeah, really bad ventriloquism.
Yeah.
Yes, give me the lantern. I am better than the judge.
I am the ghost of Madame Wodge of the Lodge.
Can we say that you slump it over the back of one of your mules and cover it in a blanket?
Yeah.
That sounds reasonable. Okay, it's a little bit more realistic. And you can head into the square where everything is just... Yeah, sorry, you're Mr. Boring.
Weekend at Bernie's.
It's quiet. There are a couple of people kind of who've collapsed in kind of on the front steps of the feral dog. They're clearly not dead, otherwise the other watchman would have picked them up. The light is fading and there's the cawing of crows. There's one thing though, just around the corner from the main square, round the side of the Temple of Tonge, you can hear what sounds like kind of murmuring and shouting and a strident voice. Sounds like somebody's preaching or something. You can just hear it as you come down the hill into the main square. It's sort of tucked away out of sight from you, but you can hear, it sounds like a little crowd of people. I mean, not many. And one voice kind of shouting.
We'll go and check it out then.
When you say shouting, you mean a preacher.
A preacher, yeah.
A man should lose his brother's hammer.
Okay, so I want to go and check. Is there anybody on the veranda?
Nope.
There's nobody on the veranda.
No, you can make a perception check.
Another perception check. 4.
Okay.
Yeah, baby.
Any sign of lights on anywhere?
Well, there's lights on in the feral dog, but there's no sound of kind of drinking or cruising from there.
I get a 21 on
I
perception.
get an 18 on perception.
Okay, so what you guys with your decent perception checks can determine is that there is drunken singing coming from inside the watch house.
Right.
I think we're kind of getting up to a point where this would be a good time to do this.
Yeah, I mean, you know that the watch house, that the jail is basically used as a drunk tank over the weekends.
Yeah.
So it's not unusual for them to have kind of chucked a couple of particularly bad types into the cells and to let them dry out. So that might be what's going on there. And this voice, as you can hear this voice, you think the priest of Tonge is called Jiren Wirus, and you think it's him. You think that's who's preaching.
Right. We don't think it's him in one of the cells drunk.
No.
Okay. So I think we need to go in there, ascertain who is in the office.
Mm-hmm.
So we can do that ostensibly by saying, okay, where's Cubbins? We've got something for him, but we don't want to necessarily do it now. If he's basically hungover and sleeping and pissed, then we don't want to. We want to wait till he's a bit more amenable.
Can Sessions and Cuthbert both make perception checks?
Sorry,
Yeah.
I get a 20.
16.
A 20.
I get a 16.
You spot something. Both of you spot something. Just passing by a window in the front of the feral dog. You see the shadow of a figure, and that figure you recognise as being Tira, one of the 3 travellers that you came here from Evenstar with, Cuthbert, who Sessions misled about the location of the cairn that they were looking for. You don't think that she spotted you. You think that she sort of almost staggered past a window, and just a little bit of fortune, you saw her before she saw you.
Duck out the way.
Okay, duck round a corner.
Yeah, turn my head and duck out the way.
And duck round the corner. You find yourself round the side of the jail, and you're looking at this crowd of worshippers. They're beating themselves with birch twigs, Cuthbert. And there's this chap, Jiren Wirus. The other guys know him. You've not seen him before. Kind of grey, bearded. I don't know who's that guy. Who's that guy who's in Bruges, the Irish actor? That guy. He looks like that guy, kind of bearded, grey, kind of stocky, but he's got one eye is like really sunken in, almost invisible in the pit of its socket, and the other is kind of outsized and bloodshot, and he's kind of preaching. He says, "Dark times is coming, writhing times. The clouds will snuff out the sky, and the dead will rise. Be ready, be ready. They stole away the luster of our holy mistress, took it into the hidden realm, and now they want to take us all down as well, into the abyss. Be ready, be ready. Tonge can see into your secret hearts, and I know what the eye sees. It sees mendacity, it sees greed and weakness. You must beat it out of yourselves. You must purge." And the crowd will start kind of bellowing and self-flagellating, and little swipes of blood kind of flash across the snow.
Brendan Gleeson,
and he's kind of got them in the palm of his hand. Not literally, obviously, that would be crazy unless they were absolutely tiny. Decency, honesty, self-sacrifice, that is what will keep the dead at bay. That is what will protect us from those that wait. Not the brotherhood, not the corruption of government, not the cesspool of avarice that is Evenstar. Only a purity in our inner heart can protect us from the darkness to come. And at this point, there's a little break in the clouds, and a shaft of sunlight picks him out, and he throws forward his hood, and his hood has got a single lens stitched into the front that kind of flats down over his face. And he looks directly at the sun with this lens. "Only the eye," he shouts. "Only the eye of wisdom can seek it out in you. Purge yourselves! Purge, so that the eye may seek out the pure in your inner heart." And they all start beating themselves again, and he rips open his kind of robes, starts whacking himself across the chest with this kind of little leather and kind of metal switch. And this blood starts kind of splootling about.
Nice.
You're like, "Oh, bloody hell, okay."
Oh, God.
Yeah.
That's what's going on around the corner, Paul.
Sounds
but
like a standard.
good
Yeah,
chat.
Yeah. nice. You've got to spend. You got to find something to do on your Sunday. Well, not Sunday.
On a cold
Well,
Sunday
obviously,
evening.
Who would make that mistake?
Sounds like a Friday night in Wallingford.
Yeah, it does. Well, it's very nice, like Bunkfest.
Yeah.
Graham, you enjoy Bunkfest? Yes.
Excellent. Bunkfest was excellent.
Yeah,
I
we can organise.
wholeheartedly commend it to the house.
Was there
Oh,
any
nah.
skipping ladies?
Or
There was the Bangra dancing.
Bangra
That
dancing was very good.
But no skipping ladies.
No,
I didn't
there
notice
was
any this year.
an awful lot of Morris dancers.
Yes.
I mean,
They
Quality.
were calling for you, Paul.
everywhere.
Quality.
What is the point?
Of what?
Morris
Morris
dancing. Why
No
does it
idea.
exist?
Well,
It's brilliant.
there is one reason that it exists, is that on Sunday, like in the Generation game, they get civilians to join in. That is fucking hilarious, I have to say.
Next year, I'm there.
So this guy's been preaching, you're tucked around the corner, Cuthbert sessions, in order not to be seen from the front of the pub. The other guys can mill about. The door of the watch house, Burple, is open, and you can't see anything in there.
The door of the watch house is open.
It's open, and you can see the doors behind it that lead into the cell blocks.
Well, I'll go and poke my head in.
There's nobody in there.
But the door through to the back of the building with the cells in it, is that got a window in it?
Yeah, it's got one of those little windows with the little bars in it, and a slidey thing.
Go and peek through there.
Okay, so you pull back the little aperture,
Yeah.
and you can see inside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you've basically got an opening area with like a grating in it. There's a chair and a table. There's a watchman sitting in that chair, fast asleep.
With a bottle near him.
He's got a bottle in his hand that's kind of
Excellent.
and then there's singing coming from a couple of the cells round to the back of the left. That's the situation that you see through that little hatchway.
Okie doke.
You can see the door of Cubbins' office off to your left. It's just,
Yes.
which is about 15, 20 feet up the wall to your left, and it looks pretty solid. And it looks like, well, do you want to go?
I'll go over. Yeah, I'll go over to it. Does it too have a window?
No, it doesn't have a window. It's got a kind of double locking mechanism. It looks like it's got a lock, like an old school mortise lock. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it's got a loop of iron that comes out of the wall and goes into the door, and that's got a padlock closing it.
The key to which is on Cubbins himself, I would imagine.
You should imagine, if you could find him.
Yeah, he might be asleep somewhere.
Might well be.
The wall itself. Okay, let me
The
clarify.
the interior walls are wood. The exterior walls are brick.
Okay. So the windows into this room are only on the front of the building, correct?
There are no windows into this office. In fact, there are no windows in the building apart from the one that's at the front of Cubbins' office, looking out over the square, clearly so that he can keep an eye on things like that, that captain in Police Academy.
Does the lock look like it's of a nature that is a deterrent? So, like you'd put on a locker in a gym or something. You know, it's there to stop people trying to get in, but if you put your mind to it, you quite easily get in. Or is it a great big kind of lock you'd put on something that was valuable?
Closer to the latter than the former. It's not
Right.
like an award-winning lock. It's not like
No,
a,
but
lock in a great exhibition.
It's not like a suitcase lock.
No, it's not a gesture. No, it's a
Yeah.
proper, solid, old-school iron padlock.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to understand.
Right.
Do we have any spells that can get us through this lock? Anybody? No. Dust.
Not really.
Dust? Anyone? Dust? Anyone?
Anybody? No?
Dust? Anybody? Dust?
Dust is
Anybody?
actually very low, in fact. Okay, so thoughts that occur to me. Go and try
Where's
and
the
get.
key?
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, the key is probably on Cubbins. Is my thinking. The other alternative is to So the square is abandoned, right? Apart from these flagellants.
The flagellants around the corner.
Right.
The square is abandoned. I mean, the occasional insensible, drunk-looking miner, and there's the occasional kind of altercation as one of these little pit bosses or pit marshals appears and kind of grabs somebody by the scruff of the neck and frog marches them away.
Right, but in theory we could stand in front of the window. Okay, so here's my thinking. Basically, when you cast the mage hand, I think you cast it within a certain distance of you, so within 30 feet of you, right? So
Gotcha.
So in other words, we could cast it inside the room, the other side of the mirror, and get it to lift up the blind so that we can see into the room, right? That way we can then try and locate, and if we can see the lantern, we can use another mage hand, or we can prop up the blind to then grab the lantern, get it to the other side of the window, and then at an opportune moment smash the window, get the lantern out and leg it. The other alternative is to go and try and find Cubbins. I bet he's got like keys around his belt, and we're going to have to, and he's snoring in his seat in the pub, and we're going to have to try and relieve him of his key. You know, is that kind of scenario. So I'm open to other suggestions, but those are my thoughts.
I don't want to do anything dodgy, like mage hands in police stations trying to steal stuff.
You are such a wuss.
Because I just think the whole thing's silly.
I might get arrested.
I've spent my life in this village. I don't want to, I've got a reputation. Wait.
Yes, you do.
Reputation as a wuss. Right, what is your plan?
No, the plan is you bloody stick the head in front of the guy and then negotiate.
But the problem with that is that you negotiate for a lantern, and then he goes, "That lantern is valuable."
Well, he doesn't have the head then,
So we're gonna. He's going to go give me the head. We're going to go, no, he's going to go, right, you're nicked.
No, I'm sure we can come up with something more sophisticated than that.
No, we
You
can't.
could also say that we're being employed by the Hesti Testapod.
But then we'd have to agree with Hesti Testapod that's the case.
We were saying Hesti Testapod has a better chance of getting the lantern.
So he is the bestapod.
Yeah,
Yes, well, obviously we go and talk to Hesti Testapod,
He's the best.
get him to agree to negotiate. It's Hesti Testapod that's going to, get the lantern.
Dan, do you want to try and nick this thing?
I'm just saying it's a.
I'm not going anywhere near you trying to nick that thing.
I'm up for trying to nick it.
Idea.
Right. Okay. So what have you got that you can bring to the party?
I think we should try and nick it as well.
You can try and nick it. I don't really fancy trying to nick it. Like I said,
Okay, it doesn't need all of us. You can go up to Hesti Testapod's and see if he's prepared to ask Cubbins for the.
Yeah, that I don't mind doing that.
Yeah, you go and do that. Meanwhile, we'll nick it. All right.
Yeah.
So, Mike, we're gonna stand around talking. So, if there's a blind in there, I can summon it.
There's shutters. There's wooden shutters.
Oh, there's wooden shutters. What on the inside?
On the outside of the window, there are wooden shutters.
Okay.
We can open them.
Yeah, we can open them.
You want to give it a go?
Are they? I mean, yeah. Okay, we'll try. I'll try surreptitiously opening the.
I've got a good stealth.
Cool.
So if I roll a good stealth to try and
you're going to try and welly open the shutters.
And I've also got. Are they locked in any way? Is there any kind of mechanism around them?
You can't see a lock.
If they're on the outside, they're going to have probably going to have a mechanism either on the inside or the outside. If it's going to be just a simple latch? But if they're shutters, they're also
a crowbar or any sort.
Well, if they're shutters, it depends on whether they've got. If they're kind of flexible, can you kind of wiggle them up and down, or are they fixed? I will try and wiggle them up and down.
Okay. Nobody comes past. Well, they're shutters. They open like little doors. Yeah.
Yes. So if I try, and I'm just going to roll a stealth check.
Mm-hmm. Make a roll.
Getting a 12.
Okay, it's not the end of the world.
And just seeing if I can open the shutters.
So you're just trying to get a finger into underneath them or something or whatever, and just give them a tug. They are sealed closed by something, but it doesn't feel like it's enormously strong.
If I look through the shutters,
your instinct is that you can't look through them, but your instinct is I see what your point. Your instinct is there must be some kind of flip catch or something on the inside.
exactly, that's what I'm looking for. Is there something where, because the shutters, they'll be at an angle, they'll be in the slats across will be at an angle. Can I see up into them and see whether
They're just wooden boards, Paul.
Isn't it more like you put your credit card between them and you flip it up?
Exactly that kind of thing. So can I get
Got your thieves picks and tools.
I do have thieves picks and tools.
Okay, so you need to make a dexterity sleight of hand check, or what is it? Anybody know?
It's sleight of hand. I've got a
Okay.
sleight of hand check.
So I'm just gonna make another.
Oh, 22.
Okay, before you. Okay.
Okay, so well, I mean, make another stealth check, Paul. So what you're trying to do now is looking innocent,
For the
leaning
purpose
against
of
the
this-
wall of the police station. You reach into your kind of belt pouch. You pull out one of your little slivers of metal or whatever it is that's part of your stuff. Yeah. You try and do it surreptitiously. Okay. You
10.
you don't do it that surreptitiously, and then you want to sort of, while nobody's looking, just kind of run them up in the gap between the things, see if you can flip a catch. Yeah.
22.
22 is good enough. You hear a kind of ding, a little ring of metal as something is flipped open, and you can the shutters immediately loosen. They immediately start to open up.
Okay. Do you want me to roll another stealth to see because I want to open them? So very quietly.
Yeah, I mean,
10.
Just before he does this, Mike, can we just. There's no light
Okay.
behind the shutters.
Is there light behind the shutters? No.
Good.
I don't think the padlock would be on the door inside if.
Well, there might be light on always. So if you open the shutters, you'd just be broadcasting we'd opened them.
Fair point.
We would notice that before we got too far.
Yeah.
No light. So Paul, with your mediocre stealth check, you open the shutters. The shutters are now open. You're lucky because there's nobody really about paying particular attention, and you can see into the office. There are bars across the window as you're looking in. They're about 2 inches apart.
Right. So not big enough to get the mage hand.
Top to bottom.
A thing through. Right.
No.
Understood.
You can see that there is a desk. There's a chair against the far corner. Looks like it's Cubbins' chair. It's bigger than the other chairs. Yeah?
Yeah.
And there's a set of shelves on the left-hand side of the room as you're looking in. And then there's a couple of what look like guest chairs. And you can see, it's really obvious, just in the far left-hand corner of the room, tucked into the corner in between the shelves and the wall, lying in a pile of kind of other bits and bobs, there's like a couple of weapons, a couple of swords sort of tipped down, leant against the wall, and you can see the lantern. It's just sitting there. It looks unloved. It doesn't look as if it's in perfect nick.
He doesn't consider it terribly valuable.
No, exactly. So somehow we need to convince him to give it to us without alerting him to the fact of its value.
Or get the key.
Or get the key.
Or get the key.
Or get into the office. Yeah,
Yes.
and get into the office. So,
You've got thieves' tools. Can you not pick locks? Disable device or something.
possibly.
What is the
Just have a
skill in this game?
Well,
Light of hand.
Let's have a quick look at that.
It's dexterity, I think.
Is it just
Yeah.
dexterity?
And you add your
Plus 2 for the tools, I would guess. something
plus
like
2 for the tools, plus 2 for your proficiency bonus.
yeah.
I think that's basically it.
So
What does that give you, Paul?
+7.
That's so if I give you guidance, which I've been trying to do several times, but you keep jumping in with the rolls,
What does that
you
give
can
me?
roll an extra d4.
Oh. So I roll an extra d4 on top.
Yeah,
What's the thing where he does it at advantage of that stealth checks, isn't it?
that's a different ability.
Right, gotcha.
That is Blessing of the Trickster.
Oh.
This was just guidance, the cantrip.
So what I'll do is I'm going to roll this as a d20, then I'll roll a d4.
Well, hold up. So you're going to go into the police station, to the door.
That's the
Just
thing.
need to be absolutely clear about what's happening here. So you've got. Are you closing the shutters?
Yes.
Remember, you can elect to roll the d4 after you've rolled the d20.
Okay.
But before the result is no, imagine it's
Yes, so Mike, stay quiet.
Yeah,
So,
I'll
yes.
stay quiet. I'm just making a little roll here. Okay. Nobody's. The square is still quiet. You close the
Okay.
shutters.
Close the shutters.
walk up across the veranda into the main office.
Yeah.
Sidle your way along to the lock. So you've got 2 locks. You've got one which is effectively a dead lock with the padlock. That looks like the tough one, and then there's another lock which looks standard.
Okay. Well, let's roll the first tough one.
Okay.
Am I inside the building now?
You're inside the building. You're standing in the office, holding your breath to be quiet. You can hear the singing from the cell block. I'm presuming that Burple reclosed the little jailer's peephole into the cell block. Right. Okay. So you're just standing at the door, out with your thieves' picks and tools. Try the padlock. Give it a go. Fucking hell. 20.
Natural 20.
Okay. Well, it's just you just stand there, you just kind of manipulate a bit, and it's like, clink, clink, and it just clicks open.
Well, that's what we need.
So now you've just got the main lock to do.
Okay, so I'll do that one now. 14, and I'll take.
Maybe you want to roll your
and
D4.
I'll take a D4.
You take your D4.
So that's 18.
18, adding your... Is 14 in total, or 18 in total, or 18 with the bonus?
18 in total.
18 in total is enough, and it clicks open.
Brilliant.
The door goes...
It falls off its hinges, crashing through the table
into the pile of musical instruments.
Brilliant.
Okay, you're standing there in the doorway. You're standing in the doorway of the office.
I just take the.
You reach in. It's
lantern.
just there. It's just.
I just take it
on your right. Okay, so you reach in,
And then lock the doors on the way out.
grab it.
Yes.
You want to try and re-lock the doors.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's try locking the first lock.
The padlock should be relatively easy just to push
Padlock,
shut.
you just click shut. This is just about getting the main lock closed.
Okay, let's do that then. Oh, 10.
Okay,
mediocre.
You kind of twitch at it a bit. You kind of try and click it. You're manipulating. It's just not going. You can't get to the tumblers. You could probably have another go at it. It's a question of how much time you feel you have.
I will just give it another quick go.
One more go. No, it's really beyond you. With a 4.
Doesn't matter. Let's get the hell out of Dodge.
All right,
He can slide the thing over and lock the padlock.
Yeah, slide the thing over and lock the padlock. Yeah.
Yeah,
and
that's
then
what I do, and then get out of there. Yeah,
Okay.
get out.
Okay, done.
Potentially, if we hid the lantern and we were to now ride noisily into town with Madame Wodge, we would create an alibi for ourselves.
Correct.
Exactly.
Oh, very nice. I like that.
Yes.
So are you dispersing to your separate little hidey holes, or what are you doing?
Okay, so when is Cubbins likely to rise? When are people likely to start kind of
well, your guess is
waking
that
up and
people sleep through their awful hangovers all the way through Urt. You imagine that sort of you've got here at about 4 in the afternoon. You can't imagine it would be too much longer before people start kind of picking their way about.
Right. So if we, what we want to do is be seen coming back into town, right?
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
So we want to pick a time when.
Yeah. Okay, I got you. I understand. So you wait until the lights start going on, that the establishments start opening up for Sunday business in the evening, and you've got a few more people about. The miners have all been securely locked away in there, or kind of dragooned back to the pits for the next day's work to sleep off their hangovers. And then you could arrive into town with some fanfare if you wish. I mean, you just basically head back. You do the whole thing completely in the open, and there are more people about. It's 6. It's dark. Curfew is about 9. But curfew is really not observed here because it's just a lawless place. And you pass, there are passers-by, there are families, normal people out and about, sort of perhaps trying to enjoy themselves briefly while the miners are all, drunk or asleep. Mm-hmm. And you can parade your way into the central square. The feral dog seems a little bit more awake. There are a couple of drinkers outside, kind of stamping their feet in the cold, and you can hear the sound of a bit of laughter from inside. There's Wilmvlow, the chap with the terrible sinus problem, is sitting outside the sheriff's office on his chair. He's back. He doesn't look particularly well. And you can hear the sound of kind of people moving about inside the jailhouse. Your presumption is that maybe it's time to chuck out the drunks. So you can kind of hear the sound of doors banging and keys jangling and shouting and a bit of singing and a bit of argument.
It's a bit like a western, isn't it? We kind of pull up on our horses outside.
It's basically Deadwood. Yeah.
Exactly. It's like with Madame Wodge slung over the back of a horse.
Yeah.
We kind of like pull up outside the jailhouse, and we just there we go.
Okay, so Wilflow's sitting there. He's like, "It's you again, and it's you again. What do you want?"
Is Cubbins around?
He's in the pub. He's always in the pub.
Ring your bell.
I'm not waking him up.
All right, I get off my horse, walk up, and I pull the string.
What do you think? Ding, ding, ding. It takes actually quite a while before a lone constable pokes its head out of the front of the pub, looks over the square at you and Wilflow on the balcony, and the rest of you kind of, as it were, milling around your horses. And he has a bit of a look, and then you hear a shout from inside the pub. He's like, "What is it? What the fuck is it this time?"
I ring the bell again.
And he's like, "Boss, it's them. Those geezers are back. Those geezers from the other day." And you hear a kind of, "Oh, God's sake," kind of the kind of exertion of a very kind of hungover person kind of getting to their feet. And Cubbins stands there kind of in the door of the pub with the light behind him, and he's like, "Oh, for fuck's sake, it's you lot. What do you want?"
So I cut the rope that's tied around the horse so she falls to the ground, and I said, "We've got a gift for you."
And he just stands there, he just looks at the body, and he's like, "Well, I fucking never." Jamis, come out! And this his deputy, this lady, comes out behind him.
Oh, it's Madame Wodge of the Lodge. She bloody well did do it. I thought I wouldn't. I thought I couldn't have done it.
And they come walking over, he looks kind of bewildered. His hair is sticking up on end. He reeks of alcohol, and he kind of stands slightly swaying in front of you, sort of just really slightly nonplussed as to what to say, just sort of looking down at this body on the snow. So, I don't think there's a reward or nothing.
No, we've just done our civic duty.
Should we go inside?
I mean,
we don't need anybody to see this.
I mean, I think frankly, I don't know about you, Jamis.
Oh, well, it was a great idea of yours, boss, to get them to go out and do it.
He goes, "It was a good idea of mine, wasn't it, Jamis? It was a great idea."
Great idea of yours.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. It's like we're short-staffed here. We're a couple of men down. It's the busy time. I just thought, Jamis, send these lads out, see what they can do, and they've done it. I'm very pleased with myself.
Well then, you are a very clever man. Thank you very much.
I'm a clever man. And I think I'm rightfully.
We've done it.
Wilflow, and the sinus boy gets up from the front. Get this piece of shit inside my jail, or whatever. Look at her. And Wilflow grabs her by the feet, drags her into the jail with her head bumping up the stairs on the way up. And Cubbins is like, "Oh, fucking paperwork. I suppose it's going to be fucking paperwork. Anyway, whatever. Anyway, look, you lot, every now and again, there's a little bit of work that comes up around here that maybe it's best that, unofficial, like, I could do a bit of help with. So,
well, that's what we were hoping.
Yeah, well, things I haven't got nothing at the moment. Place is dead, and whatever. But every now and again, yeah, I do need a little bit of help. And I have to say, I think I might have been a bit wrong about you boys. You might be able to help me out in the future.
Cool,
brilliant.
Right, what's the plan?
So we're going to go off to the cairn, back to the cairn with our lantern.
Are you going to travel overnight, or are you going to wait until the next morning?
I think we will
wait till the morning.
Until the morning.
Okay, so the morning.
Is it dangerous to travel at night?
Well, it's just not the easiest. It's cold and whatever. Anyway, it's Moon Day.
What's the month?
February.
Oh,
yeah. Moon Day, the 7th of February, in the 595th year of the Brotherhood. Or the 7,231st year of what?
Which Brotherhood?
The Brotherhood of the Broken Staff, who are the Brotherhood that protect Even Star from those that wait, who lie in wait for civilization off the edge of the barrier cliffs.
Could we have a rest then?
Yeah, you can take a rest. You can take a rest overnight.
Can we take
Can
a long
I
rest?
catch up with Durskin before we head off?
Do.
Has he got any news? I mean...
Oh, young Grimbold. He smells, if anything, more awful than usual. And you can actually see the fleas hopping off him.
That's all right, I'm used to it.
Oh, where have you been, young Grimbold?
Never you mind.
You missed out on a bit of a first mate's job over the last couple of days. I've taken some high rollers out on the other side of the lake. I don't think it was very satisfactory for them.
Right, what were they doing?
Well, they were looking for something or somewhere. I don't know. They kept themselves very much themselves, lots of muttering. And then they headed off into the hills. They seemed to think that they were doing something ever so clever, but then they came back about, I don't know, I stayed on the boat for a night or so, and they came back and they looked very downhearted and disappointed, and I brought them back.
And they were basically going over to the cairns as well, were they? Is that the direction?
I mean, there's cairns all around Grimbold, and there was one in particular on the other side of the lake they seem to be interested in. That's my guess.
Yeah, we sent them to the wrong one.
Okay,
so we go off into the wilderness.
Yeah.
Towards the cairns, making sure that we're not being followed.
Yeah. No worries. Got the lantern with you? No, forgot it. Damn.
What lantern? I gave it to Hesti Testapod as a gift.
You work your way back into the cairn, and you work your way back down to the tomb area with the passages, the lanterns, and the sarcophagus. Sarcophagus is pointing up the yellow passageway, and the elevator is at the top of the yellow passageway, and the doors are open. The green lantern is flickering away. All the other lanterns are unlit, and of course the red is missing, but you have it with you. What do you want to do?
So, can we just go through all the lanterns again?
Yeah, let's go through in some detail.
In sequence, if possible.
Just to clarify.
No, I think we should do it out of sequence.
How did we light the non-green lantern?
You got torches. There's a little door in the lanterns. You open up the little aperture. There's a little bracket inside. You stick a torch in. Yeah.
Yeah. And does the red lantern look like it needs a torch, or does it have whatever the?
No, it needs a torch.
Well, we have one.
Yeah, I think you'll find you have to cross off 8 copper pieces for the torches.
So what are you doing?
Lighting the torches.
Hang up the red one and light all the torches.
So you're lighting all the lanterns?
Yeah.
Okay. As soon as you light the final lantern, doesn't matter which way around you go, nothing happens.
Oh, you bugger.
Let's point the thing at the red lantern, as it was the hardest one to...
Yes.
So you
I agree with that.
click it around clockwise all the way around.
Yeah, all the way around.
Comes to rest.
Turn the sarcophagus to the red.
Nothing happens.
Am I right in saying, in remembering that the lid of the sarcophagus moved?
The lid of the sarcophagus comes off.
Yes.
In fact,
what's inside
Cuthbert has climbed into it. He couldn't find anything.
Is it any different now that we've lit all the lanterns?
Do you want to try opening it?
Yeah.
Cuthbert decommissioned the little trap mechanism that was built into the lid, so I'm going to say it's still decommissioned. So you can slide the lid open with no trouble, and everything is exactly as it was.
Okay.
Let's
Does it look like on the lid of the sarcophagus that there is a indentation or anything where you might place something?
Nothing leaps out at you, no. This is the one with the little shield brooch thing kind of built into the body on the top, with the glyph for that Hesti told you means the name Zosiel, which he said, I don't know how many of you were paying any attention at all or recall, but he said that built into the nature of these glyphs in this in the farty language, the language of the wind tubes, that there's a kind of hierarchy built into the nature of the language, and he could tell you that the name is Zosiel, and that built into that sigil is the fact that Zosiel is within whatever frame of reference is being referred to by the people that made the inscription. He's the least important person that's mentioned. So it's like, this is Zosiel and he's not very important, is what the glyph says. And then the other glyph, the glyph that was on the apparatus that you found, little raised bit at the base of it, is for somebody called Icosiol, and he said that was the most important person. You don't know if that's directly relevant to what you're looking at now, but just so that you have that in your brains.
Have we found that other glyph where?
You found it, there is a little raised little kind of plate on the front of the platform that broken apparatus was, a little bit further back.
Right.
Yes. And then there was another glyph that was on the floor in the room that you clambered down the green sinkhole, and you were going to get Hesti to tell you what that one meant, but you kind of got distracted.
Okay. So we're going to have to go down these other passageways, I'm assuming.
It's a question of what you haven't done yet, and where you haven't looked.
Yeah.
So which ones have we looked down?
Red, so far nothing. Orange, nothing. Yellow, elevator. Green, sinkhole. Blue, there's a skeleton at the bottom of underneath the lantern, and the shaft that the lantern chain dangles down through, which is the same in all the passageway, seems to carry on further than the others. Indigo, you had another elevator, which you had a look at but didn't go for, and then Violet, nothing happened.
Just to go back to the blue passageway.
Yep.
You're saying that the chain that the thing is hanging on goes up higher than the other passageways.
That's right. The chain, all of them hang from a chain that comes down a shaft that leads up at the end of the little passageway that they're in, and they all seem to stop after about 30 feet, and you can see the little anchor point where the chain is affixed on all of them, apart from the blue where the chain disappears into darkness.
Right, I'm going up.
Okay.
Fuck it. I'm going to go and climb up the blue chain.
Okay, make a...
And just before you climb, can I just check, what's the state of the corpse at the bottom?
Well, it's
dead.
It's a skeleton.
Crushed.
Yeah, it's experienced some sort of crushing or something trauma.
Okay. I'll move aside the bones and lay them to rest.
Crushing, is that from one direction or two directions?
Oh, make a medicine check if you have it.
Oh, I have medicine. 22.
Sessions, you think the trauma is on one side of the body, and with your 22, you think it's falling damage. You think that this thing has fallen from a great height.
So he climbed up, slipped, and fell back down again.
Yeah, quite possibly.
Possibly.
Or got pushed at the top.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's
Or got
go back
pushed
to
in-
Cuthbert.
Ooh, very clever.
Cuthbert is going to attempt a climb check.
Mm-hmm.
An athletics check.
Make your athletics check.
15.
How far does it look like he's going to have to climb?
What's your vision, Cuthbert? Do you have dark vision?
Yes, he's got dark vision.
So you can see that it goes up 40 feet rather than 30 feet, and then you can think that it opens out at one side. You get to the top of the chain, and you're looking down a passageway.
Ooh.
It goes further than your dark vision reveals. It extends into shadows to the northeast. Make a perception check.
Okay. 13.
13. Okay. You think that those markings at the edge of your vision, Cuthbert, they're scratches in the floor.
Oh, okay.
Oh, this floor tips up, doesn't it? You walk to the end of it, and then it tips up to 60 degrees.
Something's going on there.
You slide back down again and down the pit.
Down to pit.
That's a full working day, lad.
I've got a rope. In terms of where I am, I've just climbed up this chain.
Mm-hmm.
Is the chain keep going up? And is it...
No. The shaft is 40 foot tall, so now that your feet are level with the floor of the passageway leading off to the northeast,
Yeah.
you've got about 4 feet of chain left before the top, and then there's a fixture at the top that the chain is hanging from.
Okay, so how high is this passage?
The passage is 10 feet high. You could just swing a little bit and step onto the floor. It's not difficult.
Okay. What I'm saying is that once I'm on the passageway, is it going to be easier for the people below me to climb up the chain or climb up a rope?
So it would be easier with a rope if you ran a rope all the way down to the floor, yes.
That's what I'm thinking. Is what I'll do is I'll tie a rope to the chain and let it drop all the way down to the floor below.
Okay. Yeah.
So
okay.
others can follow, and then I'm going to, if I can, swing and get onto the passageway floor.
I think also before you proceed, it would be wise to
So you're stepping off.
put something so that you can't fall back down again.
Yeah.
Floor seems solid, seems perfectly normal.
Yeah.
Yeah, but maybe something might come rolling along, or something that's going to mean that you're effectively going to have to run back to the end of the passage and get down that chain.
Yeah. Okay.
So how high up is that?
Well, so the shaft goes up 40 feet, so the floor of the passageway is 30 feet above you.
And these are scratches.
The scratches are at the other end of the corridor from Cuthbert, on the floor.
Okay. Well, I'm happy to go up.
Okay.
So I will climb the rope.
Make a climb check.
Which is an athletics check.
It's an athletics check. I've got a DC in my head.
23.
23 is absolutely aced it. You want to do anything else?
Well, I want to step off.
Fine. Yep. What's next? Anybody else want to join them?
Yeah, go on. I'll
Parker?
climb up.
Anyway, you're up. You're in there, Parker.
On the way up,
Mm-hmm.
are there any like places where you can tie a rope off on the side?
Not really. You could bang a mountaineering python into the
Yes.
stonework. You don't know how steady that would be. But you're the master, master of steadying off. Perhaps not the time and the place. But
I will try and bang some pitons in on the way up, like a quarter of the way up, half the way up, and 3/4 of the way up. Right.
Mm-hmm.
I will bang in a piton, and I will tie a rope to the piton, and then tie it to the next piton halfway up, and the next piton 3/4 of the
So
way
you
up.
make a sort of loopy, ropey, laddery thing.
Yeah, so that
Okay,
it's basically so that if we had to jump off, that you've got something to grab onto, possibly to break your fall.
Give me a dexterity check and an intelligence check. In the meantime, while Parker is constructing this thing, anybody down at the bottom want to do anything?
10.
Okay.
Well, I'm looking at how complex the climb is, being a short, fat halfling, and thinking,
Well, you've climbed up from the sinkhole before. You've got a rope that's been dropped down by Cuthbert, which is tied off at the chain at the top. 10 for both. Okay, thanks, Parker.
Do you want me to lift you up?
That could be done.
You could tie the rope around your waist, and I could just haul you up.
"Oh, I'm happy to do that."
Okay.
That's what I'll do.
So you do that while Parker is doing it. There's enough room for the two of you to kind of be doing that at the same time.
Yeah.
So Sessions goes up. Okay. And
Not very strong.
What about Grimbold? Don't tell me.
He's
Johnny
asleep.
fallen asleep.
He's asleep. Johnny.
Let's tie the rope round him and carry him up as well.
Sure. Okay.
He's completely asleep. I'm gonna ring him on his mobile.
So at the top, Mike, while he's doing that, I think the first thing we should start doing is searching this initial area that we're in.
Hello, I'm sorry, I'm unable to take the call at the moment.
That is staying in.
Yeah.
So you're all up. We'll just stow Grimbold to one side.
No.
Oh, sorry, wait.
Johnny, where have you been?
Sorry, I did drop off there, but I've got an excuse that I'm jet lagged.
Oh no, fair enough. He is jet lagged.
So how long was I out for?
A while.
Well, it's
1:30. Johnny,
We've been waiting here for an hour to resolve this.
What was the last thing you remembered?
Taipei International Airport.
Going along the corridor or something at the top.
Oh, okay.
Anyhow, it's excellent to have you back.
It's good to have you back, mate.
Yeah, so we're searching on as we go, right?
Purple, do you have dark vision?
I do have dark vision, yes.
So you can see something. The passageway ends in an enormous stone human face, and its mouth is open.
Yeah.
In a
Doom
kind of
horror
looks like
style.
an angry scream, and you can see a dark aperture within the mouth.
Take my clothes off, step into the mouth.
Somebody make an Burp will make an intelligence check.
An intelligence check, 19.
The physiology of the face is identical to that of that weird, genderless figure that's in bas relief on the sarcophagus downstairs.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, what do we have to do?
Stick your hand in the hole.
Feed this thing, or
okay. Shall I do a detect magic?
Yes.
I think maybe we want to make sure we don't get blown backwards down the hole.
yes. Well, that's what's gonna happen, isn't it?
Well, obviously something's going to happen here, so maybe we should tie ourselves off in some way.
Do we need to steady off?
I think we should do a lot of steadying off.
Parker's good at that, isn't he?
Spend 10 minutes steadying off.
Shall we steady off before we go on? Or do you want to steady off a bit later?
No, I think we should steady off now.
Okay.
As a group.
As a group, we're going to steady off together.
Yeah.
Okay.
Get it out of your system.
Well, hang on. So the range of the detect magic is 30 feet. Is that right?
Am I at the top of the passage?
You're on the
Yes.
you're at the top of the.
Can I go back down?
It's too scary.
Sorry, it's a bit of. It's such an obvious trap.
I'm going to move to there.
So Burple's walking up further up the passageway, and Grimbold is climbing.
Slowly, ever so prodding,
climbing to the bottom of the chain.
checking.
Yeah. Okay. And you're climbing back down, Grimbold, right?
Yes,
Okay.
but then I'm stepping out. I'm not stopping at the very bottom of the chain in case anything falls on top of me.
No. So you're stepping back out into the passageway a bit.
Yeah, about 10 foot.
Okay. What was your perception check?
My intelligence was 19.
Intelligence was so you determined that it's the same.
Yes.
The physiology is the same, and then you said that you're carefully inspecting, looking in front of you. So can you give me a?
Oh, I see. Right. So
a
you want
wisdom perception check.
I'm gonna tie myself to the chain.
5.
5. Okay. Everything
Yes, it was a
everything
5.
looks just as scary as before. And
Okay.
Sessions, you're tied off at the top of the chain. Yep.
I'm tying to the chain as well.
Okay. So you've got a rope that was attached to the chain.
Yeah.
The rope attached to the chain has now got a loop running round Sessions and a loop running round Cuthbert.
Yeah.
Sessions is Grimbold is at the has clambered back down, and Parker is clinging onto his kind of rope construction. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And Burple is up the passageway. Burple's right up his old passage.
Yeah, I've gone up the passage and I'm
Up
going
the
to
rear
be
passage.
steadying
so
off.
the rope construction I made is like stands on its own.
Yeah, but so are you not? I'm just trying to establish. Are you holding on to anything?
No, I'm not holding on to anything. I'm gonna go up to where Burple is.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to be
Okay.
tied independently to the chain and be next to the hull.
Can you give me a wisdom perception check, please, Parker?
21.
Okay, 21, Parker. You notice something. You notice that there's an area of floor just in front of the face that looks unusual.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I noticed it's got some very strange scratch marks on it, which are basically going.
Yeah, that's basically someone being blown away, trying to not be blown away, scratching the floor.
Does it look like it's separate or it's movable or something?
It looks like it's delineated from the rest of the floor. You're looking at something
Okay,
that
as if it could it's a pressure pad.
could be something like that. Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to do a detect magic, which has a 30-foot range or 30-foot area. Which should cover the face and all the area up to it.
For the duration, you sense the presence of magic within 30 feet of you.
If you sense magic in this way, you can use your action to see a faint aura around any visible creature or object in the area that bears magic, which is what I will do. And you learn at School of Magic, if any.
Yeah. Okay. There is a faint. Well, there's an aura around the face.
Right.
And it has an evocation aura, and it has an enchantment aura.
An enchantment aura.
An enchantment aura, yeah.
Okay, so the evocation is going to be gust of wind.
Yeah.
The enchantment. So the trigger is the floor. The mouth blows you away. What's the enchantment do?
Well, it's the enchantment for the trigger.
Give me another perception check, Dan.
Cliff.
While you're staring at the face like that.
I'm not staring. I'm
Observing.
I'm analysing. Okay, so perception check. 9.
You're drawn forward.
No, 9's all right. 9's all right. Let me see if that's done anything. You can see that through the mouth, now that you're close enough, that darkness, you can see that there is actually something past there. It looks like there's a kind of
treasure.
An area, it opens out, and there's some kind of beam or strut or something at floor level leading away to the northeast, kind of a continuation. Looks like it basically opens out into nothing, but with a little beam leading off.
Hang on. So is the beam like a tube, or is the beam does the beam go directly to the mouth, or does it go sort of?
It starts on the
Below
other
it,
side.
above
It
it.
starts on the other side of the mouth at floor level.
So, I see.
If you stepped through the mouth, where you want to do
Yes.
something like that,
How
you
big
would be
is the
able to
mouth opening then?
It's big enough for you to kind of duck your head down, and you could squooge through.
All right. So I think it's probably safe to go another 10 foot, maybe.
Well, we can go. So does
okay.
this mean that you can step over that?
Yeah, there's this little area that you could get over it. Yeah.
Mm.
Okay. Very nerve-wracking. I will step over it. I'm standing to the side just to see if anything happens, and then I'm going to look through the aperture from the side.
So through the gaping mouth, there's a long. It looks like you're looking at a long, dark room with no floor. And there's a 3-foot wide beam of petrified wood that sort of sets off, spanning this chasm, whatever it is, leading straight ahead into the darkness. And you can kind of see from your angle, because you can look down a bit. 10 feet below this beam, there are countless iron spheres the size of large oranges, grapefruit, something like that, that seem to form a kind of weird irregular floor, but it's impossible to tell if they're a kind of a fully solid surface or whatever. The walls, the northwest and southeast walls, so these are the walls to either side of you, are covered in a honeycomb of geometric patterns, not unlike the geometric patterns that you've seen earlier in the cairn, but seem very damaged and kind of worn away by the ravages of time or damage or something. And then the ceiling, if you look up, is 20 foot up. So you're in a 10-foot corridor, but the ceiling lifts so that you can put your head down, look through and up. You can see the ceiling is 20 foot up above you on the other side of the mouth.
Ah.
All very frightening.
Okay.
A bizarre soft play area.
And it obviously extends further than we can see.
It extends a little bit further than you can see, yeah.
Okay, well, I will move up as well.
That narrow bridge thing's going to be a nightmare to walk along, isn't it?
Yeah, how difficult does it look?
It doesn't look impossible. It looks.
You said it's petrified wood. It's not going to be very strong.
A bit like petrified wood, yeah.
I'm not sure it's not the getting knocked off it that you should be worried about.
Dan, give me another perception check. Now that you're kind of peering in.
Can I do a perception check as well?
6. Yes, perception is not my strong point.
Okay, fine.
19.
Wind.
19 from Parker. Parker, you realise you can hear something. You can hear something coming from down on the other side of the mouth. You can almost like the little metallic spheres are moving around, or something's disturbing them. Something like that.
It gets better. Right. So allow me to summarise.
Being tied to the chain seems much safer.
Yeah. So allow me to summarise. Basically, having stepped over the trigger for the nasty wind trap that blows you through the hole to your death, potentially you can squeeze your way through a mouth in an alien face onto a petrified beam that doesn't look very strong, which spans a chasm filled with metal orange-sized balls which are moving around being disturbed by something, and there are
or
basically or their eggs, yes.
About the hatch.
And then describe the walls again. So the
walls are honeycomb with these patterns like earlier in the cairn. This petrified wood beam is about 3 foot wide.
Right.
So
so we're still talking a sort of athletics, acrobatics type.
3 foot you could walk. 3 foot.
No. I'm talking about when the bad stuff starts to happen, when you're halfway across and you can't get to anywhere.
That's speculation that I can't get into. I mean, I haven't read this room yet, so I don't know what's going to happen to you.
What's going to happen to you? I like that. Do we really want to go in there? Do I want to risk everything? Well, we don't even know what's in here. It's just a sort of exploration.
Yeah, you don't know what's in there. It's
reward.
You've certainly
treasure.
found something, But I mean,
Okay.
this something has obviously been here all the time you've been here.
Yeah.
But you don't know whether or not it relates to the lanterns, or I mean,
Yeah.
Okay. Like I said, the face is the same as the guy on the two.
I'm going to cast a light spell on a crossbow bolt and fire it down the end of the room.
Okay, I like
Try
it.
and see if I can see.
Yeah, shpoing. Yeah, got it. Okay.
Tell me a ledge at the other end.
Minigun.
It's basically someone with a gunge cannon.
Grease cannon.
There's a door in the wall at the other end.
Right.
It's made of metal.
Marvelous.
It looks odd. Have you still got your detect magic running?
Yes.
It has an abjuration aura, and it is magical.
So basically, even if I were to be able to get to the other end, it's basically going to blow me up as soon as I get there.
Let me just check that aura for you, because I don't want to mislead you. I mean, I do want to mislead you, but I think it was just because we're recording it.
Yeah. Brilliant.
No, it's a transmutation aura. Very sorry.
Okay, so the next thing is I'm going to take another crossbow bolt and fire it at the metal balls.
Are you sure that's a wise idea?
I mean, I'm assuming that your crossbow bolt is it's not pierced this metal door, so it's thudded into the stonework at the end. And then your crossbow bolt your original light spell is dispelled when you cast it on the next crossbow bolt. You fire it down into the balls, and you can see them just lying there 10 feet below you. They're just lying there. It's like a soft play area from the mind of a madman.
Do they seem really deep?
Impossible to tell how far they go down.
But they fully cover the floor.
They fully cover the floor.
You can't see the floor.
No.
Sinking into a metal ball thing.
So transmutation.
Yeah.
Does that mean it's not? I mean, it would be illusion if it's not a door. So if it's
transmutation could be wizard lock or something like that.
Could it?
Could be. I don't know.
Okay, so basically, it potentially could get to the other. What do we want to do? Do we want to check them all out first, or what do we want to do?
Do this one.
Okay, where are you, Graham? Do you want to move up and then you can do this one.
I don't mind moving up. I'll move up.
Okay, I'll step back over the thing back here so Graham can do the room.
What, you mean you're going to crawl through, Graham, are you?
No, but I'm going to be up there so that we can crawl through.
What does that mean?
It's not quite the same.
Yeah, what does that mean? I was wondering, you're going to be brave, Graham.
Yeah, I'm in due course.
Okay.
I'm sorry. This is. Are you going to be brave? Echoing up from down below.
Yeah.
Well,
are we sure this is the right time to do this room? I'm just wondering whether we're thinking this isn't. I mean, is this for second level characters, or is this come back later when we've got a few more?
So, all right, I'm going to go back up here. If Graham's going to be a wuss, and just stand there. Okay, Mike, I'm going to take out my rope. I'm going to tie a loop around my waist, and I'm going to crawl through the mouth, and then I'm going to tie another loop around the
Works
floor,
every time.
around the wooden beam.
There you go.
Yes, absolutely, I understand. And then what are you going to do? So you're going to step through?
And so then I'm going to inch my way across the beam.
Yeah.
Detecting magic as I go, trying to spot threats coming from either wall and below.
Yeah. Okay.
Moving silently, hiding in shadow.
I'm casting guidance on myself.
Dan, are we holding on to the rope at the other end?
Yeah, so it's like a figure of eight. There's a bit around my waist. There's a bit around the beam. So and then the trailing end is going out through the mouth.
Which you want us to hold?
Yes.
Yeah.
I will endeavour to use my 8 strength to help.
I think I'm going to come up. I'm going to undo the rope around the chain. I'm going to make my way up.
Okay, so Burple, as soon as you step or sidle into that little bit of the beam,
Everyone's having a good look to see what happens.
nothing happens.
Fucker.
But the next square...
Yeah, but the next one is where it really happens. Yeah. Okay, I will sidle another...
While you sidle, how robust does that bridge feel?
Yeah, how robust does that bridge feel?
Make an intelligence check.
Intelligence is a 10.
It
Marvellous.
feels solid. Difficult to be 100% certain that you could put, like, you know, a double-decker bus on it. But you don't feel like you don't feel vulnerable, and well, not because of the strength of the thing, anyway.
Okay. Another 5 foot.
Another 5 foot. Okay.
Only the penitent man shall pass.
Yeah.
Choose wisely.
Okay. I don't like this. Another 5 foot. It's all going to kick off. All right, I'll go another 5 foot. I don't have a choice, do I?
Another 5 foot. No, you're absolutely fine.
Ooh.
Can I follow?
Sure.
Yeah.
And then you follow on, and Dan steps to there. And when Burple slides his way onto that next square, stuff happens. Balls fire at you from the walls. Little apertures open, and a hail of balls fire at you.
Apple size, orange size metal ball.
Yeah, softball size balls fire at you. And we'll pick it up next time. Thanks, guys. That was a good one. We'll see what happens
next.
Yeah, well, we'll see what happens next time. Okay, guys, that was great. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Pick it up with the ball, with Dan being shot at by balls.
Dan playing with his balls.
Dan straddling a shaft, being shot at by balls.
The Billowing Hilltop podcast is a Billowing Hilltop production. Dungeons & Dragons is a trademark of Wizards of the Coast. The Whispering Cairn and The Age of Worms are copyright Paizo. The Whispering Cairn was written by Eric Mona. Music is from Kevin MacLeod and Incompetech.com and is used with thanks under the Creative Commons license. Additional music and sound effects come from the wonderful Sirenscape. All other original material is copyright Billowing Hilltop. Role-playing games are all about getting people together, and we use Roll20 as our tabletop, the perfect place to host your game, and Discord to host our chat. Thanks for listening.